Hello! Today will be a quick little video showing you how to make this adorable little country style rug using materials you can find at Dollar Tree. Although I did cheat a little bit and you'll see why at the end. A while back I found these bundles of clothesline at Dollar Tree and they were so colorful I thought there must be something I can make with that, so I bought a couple and I played around with it, I practiced, and I came up with this rug. I chose the blue clothesline and I needed 2 of those, and then the first part of the line is really curly, so I thought it'd be better to start on the other end. So what I did is I taped it to the side of an oatmeal container and then I wound it around, and then that became a really good skein of the clothesline. It made it much easier to work with. And then I chose 3 balls of the red just cotton yarn from Dollar Tree. I chose to use a size K or 6.5mm crochet hook, but you can use any size hook that you're comfortable with. And so just start with a slip knot and then chain an even number of chains that will equal around 12 inches. Mine was 32 chains long. When you reach the end of the chain, turn the chain over, and in the second chain from the hook, place a single crochet and single crochet across the row. You will then have an odd number of stitches. Mine was 31. And when you reach the end of the row, chain 1, turn, and then I'll show you how to start crocheting over the clothesline. Place your free end of the clothesline under your yarn, and we are going to single crochet into the first stitch. And so bring your hook around the back of the clothesline, yarn over, and then complete your single crochet as normal. And then chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and single crochet around the clothesline in the next stitch. And repeat across the row, ending with a single crochet in the last stitch. And here's my last single crochet going into the last stitch, and we're actually going to add 2 more single crochets for a total of 3 single crochets total in the last stitch. And every so often you should tug along the stitching to make sure it's spread out evenly. And so now we'll chain 1 and then turn the corner. And then in that first stitch that was from the foundation chain, go ahead and place another single crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and single crochet, and repeat down to the end of the row. And here's my last single crochet going into the last stitch, and then here I am straightening out the stitches again, and then chain 1, and then turn the corner, and then sort of in the center of that side we'll place 3 more single crochets. I apologize for that big old band-aid right in the middle of the screen. I kind of had a fight with a curling iron. And then chain 1, and then single crochet in that first chain 1 space along the other side. And then chain 1 and single crochet in the next chain 1 space and repeat down the end of the row. And so now when you get to those 3 single crochets at the end of that first row, we're going to single crochet, chain 1 into each of those stitches. And then continue with our stitch pattern of a single crochet in each chain 1 space, chain 1, and then single crochet into the next chain 1 space down to the end of this row. And then when you get to the other end and those other 3 single crochets at the end of the row, go ahead and do your single crochet, chain 1 in each of those 3 stitches. And continue with our stitch pattern around the other side of the row. And so now we are on row 3 of the clothesline stitches. So when you get to the end, you'll need 4 place markers, and so we need to find 2 chain 1 spaces in the middle, and then go to the 1 space to the right and place a marker, and then 1 to the left and place a stitch marker. So then you'll have 2 free chain 1 spaces in the middle there. And repeat, placing 2 more place markers at the other end of the oval. So just find the 2 most centered spaces in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then a marker to the right and then a marker to the left. These markers will be indicating where our increases will be going in the next row. And so our first increase will be in that chain 1 space where the marker is, and it's just a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, all in the same space. And continue with our mesh stitch pattern in those next 2 chain 1 spaces, and increase at the next chain 1 space where the next marker is. So just continue with our mesh stitch pattern along this side of the oval, and then remember your increases at those other stitch markers. And I'll meet you at the next row. So now we're on the 4th row of the clothesline rows, and I'll show you how to do the increases for this row. We are just going to place an increase in that chain 1 space from each increase from the row before. So here's the first increase completed, and then chain 1, single crochet into the next chain space, and then in the next chain space we will add another increase. And then chain 1, single crochet into the next chain space, chain 1, and then increase at the center of the previous increase from the previous row. And so repeat for the other end of the oval, adding that extra increase in that center chain 1 space. And here I'm showing you what it looks like at row 5, and so remember to add increases at the center of each increase from the row before. And here's how it looks after 7 clothesline rows. And so just keep going with your increases. Everyone's rug will be different. There might be a row where you don't have increases if it looks like it's getting too full. And without making this pattern too complicated, I'll show you what I ended up doing. I kind of winged it after a while. Every other row, I would just do those increases and then in between the increases I would do an increase. Anyway, it's pretty forgiving. Just add increases as needed to keep it flat as you go. And then just continue on with as many rows as you like until it's the size you like. Mine ended up being about 21 by 29 inches. And so for the border, I was running out of the red Dollar Tree yarn, so I did cheat and I'm using this blue yarn from Lion Brand. And so I completed 2 rows with the blue yarn in the same stitch pattern as we've been doing. And to begin the scalloped edge, here I am doing a slip stitch with my K hook, and then I'm going to switch to a smaller hook. It's a size J or 6mm hook, and I chain 3 and I triple crochet into the same stitch, and also double crochet into the same stitch, and then skip 2 of the single crochets from the previous row and slip stitch into the next single crochet. And so you'll also be skipping those chain 1 spaces in between the single crochets. And then repeat around your entire rug. And to finish off the ends of the clothesline, just put a few dabs of hot glue there on the base, and then wind your tail around the hot glue a few times, and then trim and finish all your ends. I hope this video inspires you a little bit. I just think it's fun to try to make something beautiful for not a lot of money. Thanks for watching. See you again next time.